Israel and Lebanon seemed to be quick to emerge saying this was not an attack. Israel was not behind this. Were all those statements convincing?
David, it seems like with these tensions, there was no other choice but for both countries to clarify as soon as possible that this is not a security incident. There's so much to do right now in Beirut and such a dramatic emergency to take care of that really taking away focus to a speculation that this may have been an Israeli attack wouldn't help anyone in the region. And also for Israel, clarifying that it doesn't have to do with this incident and this was not a deliberate attack carried out by Israel is very important, because even the smallest speck of suspicion that Israel is related to this could be very harmful for both Israel and Lebanon. So really these clarifications that came out from both Israel and Lebanon very quickly are in both sides' interest, and they seem, for now, pretty reliable.
Jacques, what's the state of affairs down there by the port in Beirut, and what's known about what caused this explosion? 2,750 tons of fertilizer. Is that a rational amount for them to be storing?
It's a small atom bomb. You know, you could see that deflagration all over the city, the shock wave, exactly, I mean, like a huge explosion. Anyway, I mean, according to the latest, it seems that this is a sort of accident. It's a working group that was trying to repair the roof of that warehouse, and a spark must have was blown away and ignited the explosives. But first there were the fireworks that were on top. Now, this is why you saw two deflagrations. The first one was the heavy smoke, and then afterwards there came the 2,750
Within that first
tons.
Smoke, you could see the things popping off.
Exactly so. The thing is that why this ammonium nitrate was still there for 6 years. It's obsolete. I mean, it could be obsolete and waiting for what? To be shipped to Africa. This is what they're saying. In fact, I mean, it can serve very well as explosive, and to many terrorist activities and attacks all around the world were based and used the ammonium nitrate. So basically, I think that the one that we should be pointed at would be Hezbollah. Why Hezbollah? Very simple. Hezbollah today is the ultimate controller of the port of Beirut, of the airport of Khalde, the main airport of Lebanon, and of 120 border crossings between Lebanon and Syria. This is Hezbollah. So it's his sole responsibility, and it cannot be divided to anybody else. Now, according to what I see, there will be a lot of heads that would be cut off.
Yeah. Obviously, this is an unfolding situation. We're seeing live images here now from the scene of this blast. As our viewers can see, not much left here from now the moonscape that used to be the port area of Beirut.
The port is destroyed.
Absolutely leveled. In light of this here, Jacques, and the sheer number of people assumed to still be under the rubble, they're reporting children missing still in the area around the blast. Israel has some of the best rescuers in the region here, tried and true, and has offered to help. Do you think there's any chance that Israel will be allowed to do something for the Lebanese here?
I think that officially the Lebanese government will refuse any help from Israel. I think that the internal problems of Lebanon, the domestic problems, are such that, I mean, Hezbollah and all his allies will just say no way. But the Lebanese people will not ask their governments, and they will go. I mean, independently. They will go either to the Israeli border, to the Rosh Hanikah, the cross point, or to the Fatma Gate, or maybe they will try to. I mean, in a third country where Israel can propose its services, and this is the only way. I mean, according to the mass and what I've seen in the hospitals in Lebanon, there is no way they can treat 4,000 people injured there. No way at all.
I saw some reports about the government calling on pharmacies to open up to help lightly wounded people, just as a desperate measure to try to help everyone there. Adi, what are the authorities saying in Lebanon? Obviously, they said this is an accident, you know, in terms of the disaster, the cause of the disaster. Is Hezbollah saying anything right now?
Well, Hezbollah still hasn't claimed any sort of responsibility, but obviously we are going to see Hezbollah intervening and taking part in both the public discussion and in the efforts to maybe try and help a little bit within Beirut. Now, it's interesting to look at this from the Hezbollah perspective, David, because really lately there was a lot of discussion within Lebanon about the option of Hezbollah maybe disarming from its own weapon because, and this is what Hezbollah opposers in Lebanon say, these weapon storage houses are risking the civil population there. Now, after this blast, that really goes to show what happens when a massive explosion of explosives is exploding next to a civil population, this discussion may be awakening, and we might hear a lot more people talking about how necessary it is for Hezbollah to disarm from its weapon. On the other hand, it is important to stress out, Hezbollah is a very significant party in Lebanon with a lot of resources and a lot of abilities. This could be a chance for Hezbollah to regain the legitimacy it lost during the last few months by helping the Lebanese people and showing them that Hezbollah has abilities to really help Lebanon in this time of emergency and really help to mend and assist Lebanon in this crisis.
Yeah. Nasrallah was due to deliver an address tonight. He's postponed that now. What do you think is the next thing to emerge from Hezbollah here? Are they under fire by the society?
Two remarks. Hezbollah is responsible of the health ministry in Lebanon. So I mean that he has to offer, instead of taking the money and paying his own fighters, he has to take the money and treat the Lebanese. This is definitely, I mean, something that has to be taken into consideration. Second, allow me to remind you that 2 years ago, Netanyahu at the UN showed a huge aerial picture of Beirut with the sites that Hezbollah was deploying missiles inside Beirut, and he was warning, saying that you are using the Lebanese as a shield. And this is what happened. So this is definitely, I mean, one thing that has to signify and signal Hezbollah to change his policies in this area.
You believe more will emerge here in terms of the details or what this material was doing in the port there? That Hezbollah, there's more to come. Do you believe?
I think that a Pandora box has been opened today. I mean, the investigation certainly. I mean, the Lebanese will just transpire outside in a moment. Everybody will know exactly what's going on, and Hezbollah will have to change strategies, definitely.